when people say what I'm doing, I often say I'm doing an action film, and they say, "Oh, wow, what's it called?" I say, "Keats." Who's directing it? I said, "Keats." Who's producing it? Keats. Who's starring in it? Keats. Who's Keats? My 6-year-old.
He's running the show. Hey everyone, I'm Denise Satoba, your host of Beyond the Bar podcast. My guest today is someone you watched for decades. Detective Mike Logan on Law and Order, Mr. Big, Sex and the City, Peter Florrick on The Good Wife. Three of very recognizable men, all played by one actor. But here's the thing about this show. I'm not chasing the characters or the headlines or the version of him the media decided to run with. I want to get to know the man behind all of this. So, Chris Noth, welcome to the show.
Hi. Hi. Thank you for that intro.
Yeah. This is, we were going through a little warm up before we started. But you know what? The most important thing today, the first thing first, is it's my birthday.
Yes, I heard.
Yes.
What are you going to do?
I have been doing well. First of all, I'm spending it right here with you, which means you're going to have to make it worth my while. And
Oh, I
I
will try.
I don't know where your nightcap is, but this is mine right here.
Sure.
So
I've already had my 3 coffees.
oh boy.
I'm so pissed, by the way, that now you remember years ago, a few years ago, all the doctors were saying, you know what? It's good to have 2 drinks or a couple of drinks. It's actually good for you. Now they've come out and said no alcohol is any good for you. And you're like, well, too late.
I know. It's like 52 years. It's like, wait a second. No, I believe in moderation, and
Yeah.
I talked to I'm sure you guys know each other. Michael Nuri last week was on my show. And you get to a certain age, and I said to him, look, I officially joined the I don't give a club, and he said, well, you're too young for that. You just realized that. And it's true. Do you feel like you care less about what you used to care so
Oh,
much more
yes,
about?
more and more. And when I um, find myself overthinking something, I notice it also a lot more. Um,
Mm.
and there's a book. What is it? It's called How Not to Give a Fuck or something like that.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Art of not giving a fuck.
The
Yes.
art of not
Yeah.
giving. And it's a bit harder than to do than you realize. It's easy to say, but to really fling it all away and not give a fuck I think it's a practiced art, probably. You sort of test the waters. Very hard in relationships and also when you have children,
Hmm.
because you're giving a fuck all the time with kids. Um, but I
Yeah.
read that also is like my teenager who's 18 and he's going off to college.
Oh,
I don't know if you have a teenager, but
oh yeah.
complained before to friends, but I'm acutely aware of not interpreting his withdrawal, so to speak, as he has a lot going on inside and is hanging out with his friends as something against me, or for me to even take it personally.
Hmm.
Just to leave it alone and try to just be there for support, but not badger him with why don't you want to do this with me? I mean, I can't even get him to see an old movie with me, but he's busy and he's got a lot going on inside, and you have to understand that. So I'm trying to take that into all aspects of life.
Yeah. No, that's actually a good point. So well, I shared with you about my son earlier. He's no longer here, but however, he did leave us a gift. I have a granddaughter, and she's becoming a teenager. So she'll be 13, and a daughter, she's 26. So
How
it's
That's an incredible thing to have gone through. I mean, you've, I mean, I can't imagine.
Thank you.
Is it a while ago or?
Yeah, yeah, it was about oh gosh, it's yeah, about 4 years ago. And Eli, yeah, we talked about it. Elias was this happy-go-lucky guy. I mean, he served in the Navy and had a pretty bad PTSD, and then tried to sell Medicaid, and so began to decline. But throughout all of this, he always felt close to other servicemen, and just felt like he needed to and wanted to share the streets with them, and be helpful. And so and it's the beauty of this, and I feel him all around. And that's kind of, I share with you why I started this passion project, this podcast, that it's about elevating people, and bringing out sort of this humanness, because there's a lot of shit that's going on. And talking about our kids, they can't sort through that on social media, what's good, what's not, and comparing themselves. So this is
I
like,
think
none of that
also, I said
matters.
earlier, I said it's like in today's world, you have to hear everybody's opinion on something. It's like, once upon a time there was three news channels, Walter Cronkite, Huntley, and Brinkley, and something on ABC. And you got your news that way, and you got your
Hmm.
New York Times or your LA Times or your Chicago Times, maybe the Post if you wanted to, hear a bunch of baloney, or the Daily News, or then Rolling Stone. But I had to take Apple News off my phone because it's really addictive to. It's like, but it's not news. It's like one big gossip rag
Yeah,
with 100 different venues, you know.
yeah,
And then
yeah.
sometimes you can find something nice, and not nice, but interesting, I should say.
Mm.
But it's just noise. And I don't know about you, but as I get older, it's like, how do I get rid of the noise as much as I can in daily life?
You're selective about what you put in, and that is a decision that I made 2 years ago. I had a little stint on TV. This was, yeah, years ago, and decided it was not adding anything to my life. It was sucking the life out of me. Don't watch any TV whatsoever. I stream what I want to stream, if
I
I'm going
don't
to
have
get
cable
entertained.
either. I don't. And I've kind of stopped watching cable news, although because you can get it in little blips on your YouTube,
Yeah.
whatever, anyway. And that's another thing that's kind of interesting and distracting. So what we're saying is that there are more distractions now in life than any time before. And it may not get better, it may get worse.
Yeah, you know what? And I like to throw myself just into things, as opposed to resisting, because it is what it is. Kind of like AI. Okay, it's here to stay. What are you going to say? You're going to say, don't use the internet, or when before Uber. Have you ever thought, putting your 13-year-old in a stranger's car? Well, here we are. So how do you make it work? That doesn't mean you have to be an overconsumer, right? Um,
Yeah,
and just scroll, scroll, scroll. I mean, you
right.
just use it wisely. Tell me about, you started telling me before we started rolling, about your cigar project.
I'm creating a cigar. I know it's a probably considered not a great habit, but I have a bunch of friends who are also we get together and smoke. And I think it started when I was doing years ago in '97. I did a mini series on TV called Teddy Roosevelt and the Rough Riders. And John Milius directed it. Those were the great days when TNT did all these miniseries. I think I did four. It was lots of fun. Although we were down in Texas in the middle of the summer, and it was just dead. But if you got them, light them up, and because really, this is when about the war when we actually invaded Cuba back in the day, and
Yep.
Teddy Roosevelt got together a bunch of guys called the Rough Riders, and we had to simulate, and we went into training, and we were in a camp in the Texas, and everyone's breaking out the cigars and smoking. Anyway, that sort of started it. And so I have a blender in the Dominican Republic who's a genius, and a friend who is involved in hotels, and we're going to create a cigar. And I had a bunch of friends over and tested it out. They all loved it. In fact, they smoked them all. I had to give them to go home.
So,
Um,
so you're a cigar connoisseur.
I know what I like. I'm
Yep.
not necessarily the most knowledgeable person, but I know when I have one that's good, and I know to savor it. That's a good word, savor.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and I got together with a friend who got really hyped on the idea of me creating one. So we're doing that. That's just a little side dance from my other concerns in life.
But it's about and bringing people together, right? You guys get
Yeah,
together.
like
It's
I
that sense
mentioned,
of
as I get older, I
yeah.
think it's important to be more with friends, to not
Mm,
isolate, to
mm,
cherish friendships. You know, when you're young, I think friendships are so important. When you're teenage years, your friends are everything, right?
yeah.
Sometimes as you get older, you find yourself, oh, I haven't talked to that person in 20 years or something like that. And I noticed that happening with my mom when she got older. People just kind of fall away, but that doesn't mean you can't have new friendships and new
Yeah.
experiences with people. I think
What
it's important just for your own emotional and mental health. That's
yeah.
why you're in a TV.
The right people. The right people, right?
Yeah, the right people. I mean,
Yeah.
um, sometimes doing a movie or a play or something, you people, if it's right and the people are great, it's you're in a very intense situation for a couple of months together on this journey of a play, especially. And it can make you feel so close to them,
Yeah.
because you're seeing them every day, you're rehearsing, you're doing this, and then the show's over, and boom, sometimes you never see them again.
Mm.
It's a very odd phenomenon.
It's almost like a loss, right? There's like this
Yeah,
gap.
yeah, and then
Yeah.
go on to the next project. But it's not every cast isn't, there can be some that are more difficult than others, let's put it that way. But then there are those magic times. For me, the most magical time on stage was when I did Gore Vidal's The Best Man. And it was a huge on Broadway in 2000, 2001. Huge cast, and Spalding Gray, Charlie Durning, Michael Learned. It's a political play about a presidential run that Gore wrote, and Gore came out. And I remember literally feeling bereft when the play,
Mm.
the ritual of coming together with them and the bonding of it. And that's one of the beautiful things I think about the theater, especially.
Hmm. What matters to you now more than let's say 10 years ago?
My 6-year-old, who, when people say what I'm doing, I often say I'm doing an action film, and they say, "Oh, wow, what's it called?" I say, "Keats." Who's directing it? I said, "Keats." Who's producing it? Keats. Who's starring in it? Keats. Who's Keats? My 6-year-old.
He's running the show.
Definitely running everything. He's pretty. Most people think I'm insane at my age to have had a child this young, but that it happened, and it's uh, it's been an incredible journey so far. I mean,
Mm.
I'm tired. I have to. That's why I have to stay in shape, actually.
That's a good motivator. Yep. That's too funny. Now, you went on like I remember you went on an incredibly long hike.
Oh, I do it every year. I'm going to Germany. It's the same group of people. They're all live in Spain. One of them is my dear friend Alfonso, who I've known since 1987 when I did a terrible movie in Jakarta, Indonesia, and ended up being there for 9 months. And he was there. All these Western from Europe and America were working with companies, and it was just an incredible time. So, but this band of women and all sort of older, my age, a little younger, some maybe a year older, 100 miles. We did the Great West Way in Scotland. Have you ever heard of that?
Yes.
The West Highland Way.
Oh my God.
And then there's the Camino in Spain. And we also did it on
Crazy.
the island of Menorca. And they're about 80 to 100 miles with this group. And I mean, really, have a lot of it is, can I get through this? Can I do this? Can I actually make it? And so
Yeah.
tremendous sense of accomplishment. But there's a great bond between me and these people, even though they live on another continent. And that's why I love to get together with them and do this at different places. Germany is going to be different. I mean, because I've done the Camino twice, and West Highland, and those are ancient sort of people have been journeying on those for spiritual and all kinds of reasons for hundreds of years. But Germany, I don't know what to think about. I don't know what to make of it, but I bet it won't be as hard as the Scottish one, especially.
What does it do to your head?
You just it's like one foot after the other.
Yeah, you can't think. Yeah.
Well, you do think, but it doesn't matter, which is good.
You got to get through it. It doesn't
Got to
matter.
get up
Yeah.
that hill and then around and then
Yeah.
down and then up another. And you try to trick your mind into not thinking about how many miles. If you're doing 20 miles in one day, um, you don't want to get in the habit of how far have I gone? How much more time? So
Yeah.
it does teach you to try to be, and it's incredible vistas. And the group is about 12 of us. So you're talking to one person for a while, and then you get to another group for a while, and you know what I mean, all the way down the road. And then you finally make it. If you're in Spain, what's great is you're going to have good food and wine.
That's
Um,
true.
Scotland, you're going to have maybe some scotch. I don't know about the food. It was okay. It was fine.
It was okay. Not my favorite either. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. What?
Little tiny little hotels, little hooches. I mean, occasionally you get a great hotel and you're so thankful. You know, but, it's
Yeah, that's not a hike. That sounds like that sounds like some spiritual journey.
yeah, it is. But and a lot of people say that when they hear about it, and I go, it is. But again, the reality is one foot in front of the other.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
spiritual
yeah,
in its own way of like, testing your body and
yeah.
going past being tired and thinking, watching yourself think things and having conversations. And
Mm.
it's not like as um, grandiose as this huge spiritual awakening, to tell you the truth. I wish I could say that. I came back and I was enlightened. I understood what one
Uh,
hand clapping means.
you're honest. That's good.
It is a
Yeah,
feeling of accomplishment though to
it
do.
has to be.
And it's a feeling of being away, which I love.
Mm.
Just
Mm.
being away. Once you have kids too, you fall into rhythms and habits, and Jesus Christ, the schools, it's like
Yeah,
I'm going to school. Um,
yeah,
but it's great to sometimes be totally away into a different environment and it just embrace it and with wonder and everything else. I happen to love Spain. I think I could live there, maybe, especially with everything that's going on today so to speak.
yeah. I like what you said about, sort of, you didn't say I need my own space, but I do. I mean, I have a family and I'm a busy woman, but I also need to hear myself think and to create. And so I go and I spend a weekend here, weekend there. And before I'm on and actually interact with people, I spend time with myself. I love it because I need that.
Yeah.
Um, and no shame in that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a little bit more difficult with a real youngster
of
who's
course.
always wanting you there. And so that's something that I have to negotiate with.
Yes, definitely.
If
Yeah.
I get him a really good surprise, lately it's Pokemon cards or something like that, he'll let me
Oh,
get away.
that's good.
I have to leave on a trip, a business trip or something. And as long as he's getting surprises at the end,
Oh,
which
they
are
love it. What what were you into when you were his age?
mischief.
Ooh.
No,
Like what?
no. At his age, God,
Yeah.
I can't even go back that far. I don't remember. He's 6, so we were living in Connecticut at the time. I had a brother who was 2 years older than me, so he was my buddy, about 2 years older. And then another brother who was really older, who was, sort of we all feared in, in a way.
Yeah.
Um, and so I had his companionship, and then we grew up. But around that time, we were settling into a great old house in North Stamford, Connecticut,
Mm.
and there was plenty of woods and fields and history and everything like that. So there was a lot to do in those days. my brothers got to go off and do more than I did, but it was actually our house was a barn that they had turned into a house at, in the 20s or something. And North Stamford at the time was close to New York, but you felt like you were up in the Berkshires or something, where I have a house there.
Wow.
And it's all gone now.
Hmm.
It's unrecognizable, but all kinds of strange things like you go for a walk in the woods and there'd be hamlets and poor people were living stuck out in the middle of the woods and and you'd see the skeletons of old lean-tos and things like that. There was a haunted house across.
Ooh.
It was a woman in the 20s left. No one knows why, and she just left, and the house. And this was, with a wraparound porch and a widow's peak on top and an old Victorian, and they left everything to rot for 50 years. So we used to go sneak in, and you'd see all the pictures on the floor and the letters and the grand piano and the slippers under the bed. And so there was definitely a spirit of,
Ooh.
scare. It was a scary thing to do, which of course is why we wanted to do it.
Of
Literally
course.
walking down was wet. So here's this thing. We lived on Webb Hill Road. At the foot of our driveway was the 10 gravestones of the Webbs from 1789 to 18 something. And across the street was a St. Bernard kennel with 100 howling dogs. So, and then was our house, the creaky old barn, right? With
Yeah.
a house down the road. And you can imagine me going to a Cub Scout meeting and waiting at the end of the cobblestone driveway. To my left are the headstones of all the Webbs, and across the street are 100 dogs. And then down the road is a haunted house. So it was for
That's
me.
like a movie scene.
Yeah,
That's
that is
crazy.
a scene.
Wow. How did you get into acting? Is that something you always wanted to do?
No, no.
No.
I never even thought about it, except I saw a bunch of great movies as a kid because my mom would like this, and um, I saw a lot of great stuff. When going to a film in a movie theater was really exciting.
Yeah.
I got into it at college. I went to Marlborough College, and I wasn't focused on it at all. I was focused on just academically, catching up after a very eccentric high school education.
Good to know.
Um, and so I was, really studying hard. I was taking Latin. I was
Mm.
a course called the History of Religion, Philosophy, and Literature, which started with Homer and at the end of the year ended with Chaucer. And I don't know why. I just wanted to be an academic, to tell you the truth. And then in the summer, where there was a repertory theater, 4 plays in rep, and that the college did over the summer, and then kind of toured small colleges in the fall, and also did shows through the fall. And I don't know, I got in, I got in. I tried doing a play and not very successfully during the year, but I got into the company and just started slowly opening up to it and
Yeah.
studying what acting meant as a craft and starting to read Stanislavski and Stella Adler, and then, you know, reading about some of the great teachers in New York at the time. And I was in that rep company for 2 years in a row, and I was, 4 plays in rep. It's actually a great education in acting in and above itself. But I
Yeah.
go deeper than because we didn't have any real per se acting teachers. It was just directors going, just blocking you and going to the most obvious stuff. But the real technique of getting into, I don't know, for a better or worse word, what they were calling the method or whatever. Because in New York at the time, you had Sandy Meisner, Stella Adler, Lee Strasberg, Uta Hagen, and then a lot of other. It was a panoply of great teachers, and I wanted to be a part. I wanted to get to them. I felt like they
Mm.
had something I could glean. I mean, they were the Buddha.
Yeah.
And but I still had a yearning for the academics too. I was trying to do both in college, but it's basically ultimately it's taking your fun seriously
Hmm.
because it's a lot of work, but has a tremendous, it's a tremendous payoff, so to speak. When you feel like you got there, you were in the moment, um, it's a indescribable feeling um, in the theater. So that was the seed that got planted, was in college, and then I came into New York City. I didn't graduate my last year. I came into New York, sort of trying to find my way,
Mm.
and I ended up going to the neighborhood playhouse and studying with Sandy Meisner, who is regarded as one of the great acting teachers. I don't know why I looked at it as like a probably like a college student, like I wanted to study, you know what I mean? And so it's funny to me, there's so many kids acting, so many good ones, and it feels like people just now there's jump right into it. They don't, uh they don't necessarily go to an acting school, or maybe they do, but um for me, I was excited by that process. Stella Adler's script analysis. I was almost more fascinated by the teachers,
Mm.
and what they had to impart, until you can just finally learn to own it yourself and not depend on that. Because there were a lot of, like in Chekhov, the eternal students, who were arguing technique, Stella's versus Sandy's versus Lee's, and like, who cares? It's really what works for you, what brings you
Yeah.
life as an actor, whether that's sense memory or moment to moment. Well, it's all moment to moment, but Uta Hagen's got all. If you read her book, it's like a cookbook. Um, and Stella, who's just so grandiose, but so passionate and vivid and incredible. Boy, I saw her tear apart a few people, though. It was scary.
Ooh.
A lot of that in those days. But it was a very rich environment at the time for that particular. A lot of people would say, well, screw it. I just want to, I'm going to act. I'll just act. I don't need someone to tell me how. And that's true for a lot of people. It wasn't true for me. I didn't know till I got on stage and found out for myself that I had any talent. And then I felt like I had to find that person to tell me what it was. What is the key?
You need it defined.
Yeah, I didn't trust myself, maybe. Maybe it's
Mm.
another way of finding a father figure or something. They were all men teachers. And um,
Hmm. How so?
the greatest, when I studied, because Sandy Meisner just was so, you just wanted his respect. You
Hmm.
wanted him to respect you, to tell you you were a good actor, because it was like, I don't know, being anointed by the genius of, I'm sure I'm not alone, and you want people wanting their acting teacher to, I think it's probably the wrong focus.
Yeah.
Actually, one of the greatest things an acting teacher ever said to me was Richard Pinter, who taught at the neighborhood playhouse and studied with Sandy in the early days. Um, you're in your early 20s, and there's a lot of angst in your life and things you're trying to prove to yourself. And one of the things he said to me that so resonated was, everything in your life that is going wrong, that you don't like about yourself, your anger, your whatever it is that you keep trying to change. He said, no, no, no. That's your talent in that.
Hmm.
That's what's great for going forward as an actor. It's not great for your life.
Hmm.
Terrible. Go to a therapist,
Yeah.
but for the stage and for movies and for things, that's where you're going to get a lot of that gold. That's where you're going to be able to dig deep and be in it and use it, transform poison into medicine, so to speak.
Did you?
I think I did. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's at my age I should have a lot more wisdom than I do, but because I still feel like everything's a beginning,
That's a good thing.
I
That's
guess.
exciting.
Yeah, but again,
Yeah.
it doesn't, and I have to tell myself that sometimes, to just ignore the numbers and keep moving, and
It's the journey. Do you believe in?
I think I think the thing that is the hardest to do, and is one of the more important things I find, is when you're feeling pain of any kind or anxiety, to be in it, unadored. and just feel it.
Mm.
And that's true in acting too. Sometimes you just take a breath, be back in the moment. And in life, we're often in our heads a lot, I think, and
Yeah.
let it guide us. Uh, and that's not always a wise thing to do. But
You know, I think also it's what's happening, actually, what's unfolding now is this conversation that's not pre-rehearsed. That's listening and not having the need to know everything in advance and needing to know what to ask and how to answer. I think it's the
not being in control.
yes, just completely relinquishing that. I think that's the beauty of it. And maybe that's what I mean by the journey, because I don't know if that lands with you, but once I reach the destination, I'm like, okay, what's next? I
Mhm.
want that journey. So, and not knowing what's next necessarily. So that's yeah, feeling it. Just feel the feelings.
Well, also actors are so used to wanting to, and you're in the public and you're exposed to the public opinions and, um, we want to be okay with people
Mm,
sometimes, or we want to hide even more, I think. And I can
mm,
remember the actors that I looked up to growing up, they weren't a part of the publicity machine that is today.
mm,
In other words, that doesn't mean they didn't go on Johnny Carson or something or whatever
right.
to promote a movie. But well, as you know, today, social media, if a person gets enough whatever clicks,
Yeah.
they could actually get a job from that.
Yeah.
They could get a movie maybe even or a TV series. So exposure now is like, yeah, everything is about you gotta, but I was always growing up with the business being don't do that. You know,
Mm,
it'll happen anyway with the work, or unless you're Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor, and even that was crazy.
yeah.
But it's not like they chased it; they just had it.
Right. Right.
And there's so many different venues to promote. I mean, promotion seems to be the operative word in everything. Um, and
Brand.
branding, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Building your brand. Yeah.
Am I making a cigar, right? That's a brand, I guess.
Hey, what are you going to call it? Or is that a secret?
It's a secret. We're still working on it. I want to call the box Meditations.
The box.
And
You
you
see,
put that box of cigar.
I
When you
love that.
smoke, it's not like a cigarette. It's like you're gonna be there for a while, either in conversation with yourself or with your friends. It's not a quick smoke.
No, it's a conversation.
It's a conversation, a long one.
Yeah.
Getting back to what we were talking about, it's like it's odd for me because as an actor, you have to get out there. I remember Sex in the City when we did the movies and we had to do the publicity. It was literally we had to go to a hotel from 9 in the morning till 6 at night and answer the same questions with all the different mirrored venues and really dumb, stupid questions that it was torturous, absolutely torturous.
Oh man. You had to, right?
But the actors, Brando lived on an island in Tahiti. De Niro and those guys you never saw them out doing the cover of People magazine, my favorite recipes, or, you know,
Right.
I was a teenager, my boyfriend, whatever, I broke up with, the personal stuff wasn't out there to
Yeah.
be given to the public. It was to be preserved for the mystery of your own talent,
Hmm.
you know?
True. Yeah. It's more exposure
And you have to, though, I guess, now.
to be relevant.
Unless you're to a place,
Mm.
first of all, they want you to do it if you're in a movie or something. They want you to get out there and all of that.
Yeah, I have the issue with someone with the label authenticity. Being authentic to me, that doesn't mean you'll be an asshole and unkind and, spewing your opinions on social media. Usually it's a mirror of how you see yourself. And to me, it's like you want to shit on your feet, not on my feet, not interested in your opinion. Why does it have to be that way? Have something constructive to say, I'll listen.
I'm sick of everybody's opinions. I don't want to hear any opinions. Who cares?
Who cares? Yeah.
So
Yeah. I know. I know. You
that's
know,
with what's changed really with social media, right? Is like all of a sudden everybody's opinion counts if
no.
you tap into it. So
Right. Right. See now, what
that's the difference. And I've made the mistake sometimes of when certain things I went and looked and went, oh, it's like there's a lot of darkness and hate out there if you want to tap into it.
yeah, you can get sucked into it. What's your pet peeve about people?
I don't think I have any pet peeves about people per se. I mean, because everyone's an individual and uh, I would never be able to answer that in a general sense. Uh,
Yeah.
I
No,
used
that's
to I used to get annoyed with the whole Mr. Big thing, and now I've learned to just say, "Hey, dude, embrace it. It's not going away. They want a picture, let's do it. They want you to call them Miss, abso-fucking-lutely, go ahead. What the hell? Gives them a, it's a done deal. Certain things where,
yeah.
well, I'm an actor, not a celebrity, but they're all looking at you as this character, and it used to annoy the shit out of me, and sometimes I was downright rude in a situation if I was eating or something.
Yeah.
But I think I've got a lot more tolerance for that kind of thing now. I don't think I think I'll always be known for doing that part, and that's just the way it is. I've also done tons of other stuff because in the theater and other places, and you just have to wait to hit that one that's going to strike their psyche again, I guess.
Hmm. If if you were to write like not perfect, but if you were to write a role for yourself, in a movie, what would that be?
Um, Actually, I was trying to write a movie about, and my writing is so painfully slow, about a man who goes on a bicycle trip up the west coast of Scotland by himself because he's
Hmm.
just lost someone close to him. And then he meets a refugee from Nigeria who was a political or something. I wasn't quite sure either. His whole family had been imprisoned and he escaped. And the thing is, and I did do this in college, took a bike trip up the west coast of Scotland on my Peugeot, 10-speed Peugeot. And now bikes are the most 10-speed bikes are like incredible now, right? A Peugeot looks like a,
Oh,
but the Nigerians on a 3-speed Schwinn. And then there's a
that's
group of
funny.
Italians who are in the most fashionable, there's like six of them. And anyway, I'm trying to do a dynamic about isolation and friendship and travel kind of thing. But I like Chekhovian characters. I've often wanted to play Astrov,
Hmm.
interior weather, um, and characters. Um, I I just love good writing wherever I can find it. I had been doing a workshop with friends, and we did 3 staged readings of Ionesco's Rhinoceros, and we were about to get funding to actually get it produced, and then ART up in Boston bought the rights, and they're doing it. They're gonna, I've been wanting to do that play for 8 or 9 years because I find it to be so relevant of what we're all going through. But now it's kind of old school because what's out there is even worse than the absurdity of Ionesco, which takes a lot for that to happen. So I'm looking for new material that way. But character richness is hard to find. Sometimes you find it in novels, but can't go wrong with Chekhov or Shakespeare.
Classic. Yeah.
I mean, that's how I started. That's what I studied at Yale Drama. Studied again. Here you see the academic and he studied. Excuse me, but um, it takes the most out of you, but gives you the most back. It's a dance. I'm still looking around, trying to find that one piece that is going to be satisfy my soul.
Hmm.
I wish I was a better writer. I'd get that movie done, but I'm a little bit stuck.
Maybe it's time to go on
Can't just
another
be a
trip.
can't just be a travel log. It's got to be.
Yeah, deeper than that.
Yeah,
You will know when you find it.
yeah.
If
But
you
I'm not an action guy, I don't,
no,
um, I never was. And
you know what? I'm glad you're not, because I'm.
but it's good for you to keep in shape,
Yeah, well, that's true. But you know what? I've noticed this trend. As actors, especially male actors, they get to a certain age, the middle age, and they get into these, action. They're just sort of stereotyped, and they get into these action flicks, and I'm this, really badass, and try to get that 12 pack going, and see, how many kills I can
Yeah,
still
I
get.
can't relate to any of that. I mean,
Yeah.
the last Daniel Day-Lewis film, Phantom Thread, I would thought, oh, incredible movie, incredible actor, incredible acting. I'm just looking for more of that out there.
Mm-hmm.
You,
Yeah.
sometimes I find it in Europe. There's an actor named, I think it's Mikkelsen. Um, he's Danish. Um,
Hmm.
God, there's so many good actors. They did it's just intimate stories between people, I want to relook at some older movies. One of my and I haven't seen it in years, all-time favorite was a movie in the late 70s called We All Loved Each Other So Much. I know you've never heard of it.
Well, I grew up in Europe on lots of black and
Oh,
white movies, and
yeah.
early,
Well, this
early.
was
Who
not,
was in it? Who was in it?
Manfredi. Um, and did a lot of comedy in Italy, and a couple of
Oh,
big Italian actors that I don't know. Three guys. It's about three men who all fall in love with the same woman, and they had come up through World War II together, came in
okay.
Rome, and then it sort of explores the history of cinema within the movie. Of the history of Italian cinema through these characters, and it's a different. It's the same director or writer that wrote, did you ever hear of Bread and Chocolate?
No,
Just giving you
no.
two movies you got to go see. As a
I,
European,
I'll check it out.
really is such. Bread and Chocolate, and then Nino Manfredi was in both of them. Wonderful actor, Italian actor. He has since passed years ago. So those kinds of stories are always, that's the kind of role I would like to do. If you want to know what I would like to do, go see those movies. Those two roles that he does, that's what I would love to do.
There you go. See,
Comedy. I would love to do more comedy also, to tell you the truth. Whatever that means, I don't know. I can't.
you want to laugh. What makes you laugh? Like really laugh? See, there you go.
I have friends, that we can get going we
Yeah.
together. And my little one makes me laugh. Uh, there are certain things. Oh, I've been watching, believe it or not, it's funny you should say that. Now, because I do have Instagram, by the way, even though I complained about social media, but I use it. I started
You're
on
funny.
YouTube or Instagram. I get these feeds of old Johnny Carson. You're familiar with Johnny Carson.
Yes, yes. He's great.
And they're like all of the Jonathan Winters guest spot. Have you ever heard of Jonathan Winters?
Yes,
He's
yes.
when I was a kid, my father, we used to watch it on network TV on wherever CBS Jack Parr show or something. And I would see him laugh until he cried. This guy was the most amazing in the moment improvisation kind of with the characters. And what I loved watching was to see the pleasure it gave Johnny Carson. You could tell Johnny Carson just couldn't wait to have Jonathan Winters on his show and would just be there in it with him. It's wonderful to see. Also, some of the old roasts with Don Rickles.
Oh, you're
Just so funny. I saw one recently with Ronald Reagan, who was just so great. He didn't have to curse or anything. He's just,
no.
the razor, he was just on it, you know.
Yeah, yeah. I admire that. The quick wit, just yeah, and you don't have to be
Pushing on
super
those
vulgar. Yeah, yeah. Oh,
roasts. Different feel those roasts. There's one that just came out. I'm going to watch it on Netflix. Kevin Hart's roast, which I hear is people have gotten really, I mean, super vicious. I got to see for myself what that is.
Yeah, I think he
Yeah.
was yeah, no, he could be. I think he roasted was it him? Oh my gosh, the retired quarterback. Who am I thinking?
Oh, I don't know.
He came
Oh,
back
Brett
again.
Favre or
No, 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 no. New England Patriots.
oh, Tom
Tom
Brady.
Brady. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think he did his. Oh, that was brutal. Oh, it was nasty. It was nasty.
Yeah, these aren't nasty. These are the old ones aren't. They're just really funny, and
Oh, good.
they're not soft either. So, but laughter is important.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, really belly laughter, and I can remember the first a few things instances that where I literally fell on the floor laughing so hard. I'd like more of those in my life. Um, I don't know. I've been in kind of conflict the last few years about as I've gotten older, seeing what's going on, and you start to lose people, and you
Mm.
start to have to decide how am I defining myself now that I'm this age, and what does it mean for me as an actor or as a person, and what does age mean? What does time mean?
Yeah,
What does
scary.
life mean? What is death? That reminds me of a great movie, an old movie. It was called Movie with it's so old, the 70s, Eli Wallach and George C. Scott have a scene. They're fighter pilots in World War One, and they land. And I know it was Eli Wallach. I think it was George C. Scott. And Eli Wallach, when they land, goes, they've just come back from a mission. Goes, oh my God, what does this mean? All this bloodshed, all this killing, all this murder, all this maiming. What all these people dying? What does it mean? George C. Scott just looks at me and goes, death, mostly.
Mostly. Yeah,
um, don't you?
yeah.
I mean, I find myself thinking about death a lot.
Mm.
What does it mean?
How would you like to be remembered?
Who gives a shit, though?
Like that?
Uh,
Right?
I know how I'll be remembered. He did this part and this part. He had a scandal, or whatever. That'll with the media be the first thing they say.
You can't control that.
No,
Forget that.
no, I know.
Yeah,
That's where I have a sort of a love-hate relationship with the media. But who doesn't? But
yeah, yeah. When you were so public, what can
wasn't
you do?
it's so many of these marvelous people who have died recently, and there's all these Instagram tweets or whatever people do now they do it on the Instagram, right? They put out a thing and
Yeah,
it's and then that's it. Really. I mean, then the rest is when you wake up at 5 in the morning and think about a certain person that died, but then you go on with your life. That's
that's
if
right.
you die, you're going to have the people that love you are going to be really badly in bad shape and emotional shape, and friends, everyone's going to mourn you for a while. And then in a couple of weeks, they start to accept it. And then a couple of years, and then decades from now, no one's even going to know who the fuck we are. Because all the people you love will be dead too.
It's a cycle, it's
I
that's
look, you ever look at that's another thing about AI, though, I must say. No, not maybe it is AI, where they have old little film clips of people in 1901 on Fifth Avenue, right? And
yeah,
they colorize it, which is great because it
yeah,
really brings you into now. And I look at it and I find one and I see them walking and I go, where are they going? Where did they go that night?
yeah,
Fuck you. When they woke up, how many more years did they have? Where's that guy going in the wagon? Who's he delivering that? What, you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
And then it's fucking over, man.
And it's gone. No, it's
You
so
never
damn
think that
quick.
way about it in when you're young.
No.
So you're too busy making your life, making the life you want to have, right? And um, I guess it's lucky for me in a way to have kids later in life because I can't get too morbid.
No, you can't.
Got I can be very morbid. That's morbid poetry.
Well, I mean, you're normalizing it. It is a fact of life. Okay. Yes, we will all die, but the question is how you spend today and then tomorrow. And that's you can control that. So
Yeah, yeah.
that's simple, simple. It's energy.
It is energy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And uh, I'm always in search of it, which is why I take 100-mile walks. Or
Man, you're crazy. That I mean, I'm a former bodybuilding, I
that's
was
only
strength
once a
training.
year, though, by the way. So twice it. you're at the most. But you're a bodybuilder.
Well, no, I competed years ago. So just kind of,
Wow.
just lift because I enjoy it, but I'm more about in and out. Now, and I've done some hikes and, long bike rides and stuff, and hikes I love, certainly not 100 miles. That would be a mind fuck with me. And I'd be like, mm-mm.
Come
So
on.
that's crazy. That's admirable.
And I like what you're talking about too. I train with a trainer and get in, get it, do the pain, work with
Yeah,
gravity, get out. And,
that's it.
I think that with the walks, it's a longer get in, get out.
Very long.
It's a week. So when you're out after a week, you really feel like you're out and you're gonna go have a dinner out and celebrate. So I find
Yeah.
that as I get older, being physical is massively important, as is
Mm,
meditation, because I've got just too much going on. Do you have a lot going on in your head? Do you,
yeah, I do. I do. Yeah,
your
totally.
that your thoughts can be the little dictators?
Yeah, you know what? I try to. I'm a creator. I get easily uninspired. So, I mean, I don't like to be pigeonholed, and that's me. I like to learn. I'm extremely curious. So, yeah, I'm chasing one thought and I forget it, so I have to write it down. I'm chasing another thing. That's just me. But yeah, I do. Lots going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
And I managed to meditate, only 10, 15 minutes a day. Um,
You
and
still do? You still do it?
I did it today.
Wow.
But it's tricky meditation because, a lot of people get the idea that, oh, meditation is going to make me better. That's not the point of it at all. And it
No.
won't necessarily make you better. If anything, it makes you more aware of that goes on inside your head so that, like, I didn't realize I was this angry. I
Yeah.
drive in LA and someone does something else, I'm right on them. I'm like, where is this coming? It's just you get to see what's inside without,
Yeah, you get to observe it, right?
yeah. And in
Yeah.
observing, like I said, I didn't realize I'm so impatient.
Mm.
Look at that. You're like, this person's not going right away and you want to fucking honk the horn at him or yell at him like, wake the fuck up, let's go.
But they can't hear you, right?
Exactly. Right.
You get pissed off. They're like,
And I'm
what?
about to do it, and it's like, oh, what? Well,
Yeah.
inevitably, what's the matter with you? But really, what it's about is look at that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing. With meditation, I found myself, I started doing it. Have you ever heard of Michael Mikey
Yes,
Singer?
of
Love
course.
him. Love him.
Love
Love
him.
him.
Love him.
Love that. He's so common sense. I fucking love it. And
Funny
so
too. He's like, what are you gonna do? You're
I
gonna
know
die. It's not to live. What's the
that
matter with you? It doesn't matter. He's like,
he
what?
goes, none of your business. I'm like, but that guy was an asshole. None of your business. He can do what the hell he wants. You take it
Yeah.
too personally.
The
And I've
problem with
learned,
that is it's great to listen to, but
I
to
know.
actualize what he's talking to is like exercise, but it's not physical. It's another
Yeah.
kind of exercise. And it's not enough to just, I read great books. I'm reading one about Zen Buddhism called Nothing Special that's fantastic. And when you read it, and I'm reading it, it's great. But in the moment to moment practice of life, it takes a practice.
Yep. You lose your shit, but that's okay. You relax,
Yeah.
your butt, your shoulders, and you do it again.
Marriage,
Right.
marriage is the biggest test of testing
Oh,
that out.
oh yeah.
It's the biggest, it seems to me, for me at least, reflection on me uh, through the marriage. You learn the most about yourself, I would say, good or bad.
Yeah.
Um,
So true. And then you have a choice, right? You can
it can
continue
be
to,
easy to be alone, not for some people, but right. I mean, if you have nothing to bounce off of,
yeah. Well, you cycle relationships and then you realize at a certain point, some people never realize it, that you've been carrying your shitty bag from one to another. But until that was me, until I did my own work,
yeah, that's
then I realized, oh, relationships can be actually okay. It was not always the other person. It was actually me. Yeah. So, but this is, Chris, this is awesome. Hey, I mean, we could just, we're just getting warmed up and we could continue, but so on a parting note, tell me something we haven't gotten into or something that you want someone to hear.
Oh boy. Um, oh, I usually leave it to what I would want someone to hear. I don't know. I don't want any, I don't know. I actually don't know. I leave that usually up to trying to do some kind of a part in something that moves people. Um, and that, and I haven't done that in a while. I don't think I mean, frankly, I think the part I did in Sex and the City gave people a lot of laughs and, a lot of women who, my Mr. Big and all that. But uh, when I did Marlowe's Dr. Faustus at CSC, the last week of performing that was transformative for me. I finally found my way in this incredible material. And that's what I want to get back to, which is why when I say check off or whatever, I just find it, I want to go to those places. And I'm getting a yearning for that. I've been very much house bound with my kids, not housebound because I go to New York all the time and was working on different things, but I'm not used to having as much. And it's been a gift, the family time for my young one to have a dad. Because my first child, I was away a lot. I
Mm,
was doing Sex in the City. I was doing Criminal Intent. I was doing The Good Wife. So we had a house out here in LA, but I was, 2 weeks in New York, come back, 2 weeks in New York. Hence, my oldest teenage son is probably much closer to his mom because I had to keep going away. But not my youngest one. I've been since day one between the pandemic and the strikes. I had a little bit of a kerfuffle, uh, bit of a scandal that kept me quiet, and but it also kept me close to him.
mm,
He's my action film, so to speak. But I'm getting the yearning to want to go to the places where the material can bring out things in you that you didn't even know you had.
mm.
And when you're away from her for a while, I start to wonder, do I still have it? I don't know. I have to test. I have to test it and see. Uh, will I be able to get back on stage and be 100%? You know?
I think you can. Maybe different version of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you have the passion. You have that fire in your belly. I can hear it. Uh,
Smoldering.
yeah.
I'm smoldering.
Light it up.
Yeah, and that's what I'm in the process. It's just that's why it would take a really beautiful piece to take me away from my family right now, from my kids, but I'm looking for that.
And it's not taken away.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
not. Don't
just,
look at it that way. Yeah. Because you know what? I mean, think about, look, as a parent, when we feel whole, we're not stopping to grow. We're guiding them, but we're not done as individuals. You have a need to evolve and grow and create, and that's not taking away anything from them.
yeah.
Maybe just something
I
to
think
think
part of
about.
me is like at my age, I'm going, well, I don't want to retire, but it's not like I can't speak of it in the same way I did when I was 35 and 40, even though in my head I'm still 40.
We all are 20 sometimes. Yeah.
Something.
Yeah. That's well, I really enjoy this. I wanted to go, like I said, I was not interested in headlines and getting into this whatever the media version of you. I mean, I
Yeah.
want you to fill in your own blanks, Chris, and that was the whole point of it. And there's so much more to you. So, thank you for being here and being so generous with your stories.
Well, I hope you have a great birthday, and I took
Thank
about
you.
an hour of your birthday time up, but uh,
This is great.
I'm
Loved it.
gonna celebrate it tonight.
Yeah, I celebrated with my daughter, granddaughter, so I've been out here and just taking some time myself, flying back to New York tomorrow, and
Oh,
we'll
I need to
continue.
spend at least a week in New York every month. It's-
Yeah, yeah. Great.
I'm still a New Yorker.
Yeah, are you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's a fun city. It for sure is. A lot of great energy. So, well, again, thank you so much.
Ooh, I'm glad we were able to do this.
Yeah, yeah, me too. Me too. And
In my head about these things, by the way, it's like, oh, how much, you're boring, don't sound, try to articulate your, as we've been talking about, I get in my head about, doing kind of podcasts. It's like, you've got to entertain them, but sometimes just sitting and having a conversation is better.
well, how was it?
I thought it was great. I was a
Yeah.
little bit stiff in the beginning, a little bit, trying to keep the conversation rolling. And then we got into some stuff that was really enjoyable to talk about.
Look, I have to give it to you. You walk into the unknown, right? I mean, you're probably naturally a little more guarded. You don't know what to expect. And I think just like with anything, you just get to know someone. And I think it was sort of disarming. And it flowed, I think flowed wonderfully. There's no agenda. It was nothing. It was just naturally.
Well, thank you
Um,
for having me on your birthday, for God's sakes.
yeah, no, this is fun. Trust me, I wouldn't do it. This is fun. And yeah, and of course, to close it out, I want to thank to everyone who's listening and watching. And until next time, I like to say, stay curious and stay inspired.